Mychal Thompson, played for the Lakers, Klay Thompson's dad, and still very closely affiliated with the Lakers. He was on the Lakers' flagship radio station, and here's what he said.
This sounds crazy to say because you think about all the great ones before him and in the league now, but he is the best one-on-one player I have ever seen.
Best one-on-one player that you've ever seen.
I've ever seen. Michael Jordan, Kobe, Steph Curry, they all are great. They all have, but this guy, because no one handles the ball like him in history, and then he has the moves to go along with it. Then he can shoot from the outside, and then he finishes at the rim better than any guard that finishes below the rim in history. How he scores over these big guys, I can't figure it out.
Look. I think the one thing that Mike said that was definitely true. Now, I agree with him. Kyrie, and I've been saying this for years, he's the best ball handler in NBA history.
And he's an unbelievable
and one
finisher.
Of the greatest finishers. Absolutely.
At the rim, Chris, I think he went over the top, with this in trying to. And you got to remember, Mychal Thompson is a Laker homer. So for him to say this about, an opponent, you know what I mean, and Kyrie... Right. Speaks volumes of, and we all know Kyrie Irving is a unbelievable basketball player. He just is. People don't focus on him enough, Chris, because he's missed so many games with injuries. He's had the other distractions off the court, So sometimes you lose some of that, and you forget how really good he is. I think he took it a step too far, but I get he was trying to heap the ultimate praise. And maybe he has two of those things, Chris, you just talked about. One, the ball handling. Two, finishing at the rim. But is he the best one-on-one player in the history of the NBA? That would be hard to say.
Yeah, look, there's nothing he can't do. Best ball handler in history, arguably the best finishing guard, point guard at the rim, arguably in history. Shoots the mid-range, shoots the three, floaters. He can do it all. But there's no way he's a better one-on-one player than Michael Jordan. There's no way, Rob. There's no way. I don't even think he's I'm going to say a few other historic guys. I think Isaiah Thomas, I would probably put ahead of Kyrie as a one-on-one player. And then, Rob, I want to throw this at you. Is Kyrie the best one-on-one player today? I think you can make an argument for James Harden. I think you can make an argument for Steph Curry. I think you can make an argument for Kevin Durant just because of his size. Now, I get that. I think Michael is caught up in the handle.
Well, the handle part,
if you're playing a one-on-one game.
He has the advantage with the handle, Chris. I think that is
his handle. Now, right. The reason I bring up Steph is because while Kyrie is a better ball handler, Steph is close. Like, Steph is a great ball handler himself.
Except for when he's throwing those turnovers in the fourth quarter.
Well, he's made that's one play. Kyrie's made bad turnovers as well. But Steph is a great ball handler himself. He also is a great finisher. I hear people talking about, he's going to the rim now. He's always gone to the rim. He's been maybe not as much as this, but he has always been a great finisher too. And obviously he's the best shooter. So I think you can argue for Steph. But I think Harden, not quite Kyrie's handle, very good shooter, moves, feints, slights. I think you can make an argument for him too.
I guess you could. I still would take Kyrie.
So you think Kyrie's the best one-on-one player in today's game?
Yeah, I would say right now, I couldn't put him all time. Those other guys, Chris, it's not a big gap. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a mile, a country mile apart from Harden or Steph or some of the other guys you mentioned.
Dame, yeah.
Right. I'm not saying that.
Durant doesn't have the handle, obviously.
Right.
But.
Well, that's what takes Durant out of it, right? The handle part.
Well,
he's an unbelievable player.
But
for a big guy, he handles the ball, and he's an unbelievable
he's a
shooter.
good ball handler for a big guy. But his shot, you can't stop his shot. That's for sure. But Kyrie can blow by you.
Right.
It's tough. You remember when we were kids, they used to have the one-on-one games. Remember on like Sundays when they'd have the NBA game on TV? Right. And at halftime they might have a one-on-one game. Doc, you remember when Dr. J played Kareem?
I don't remember that.
It's on YouTube now. Kareem beat him pretty good. Because his size, Doc just couldn't deal with.
Right. How could you defend that? And you can't defend Kareem's shot. I mean, it's the most indefensible shot, right? You just can't defend it, Chris. When he had that ball and his touch in the lane there, what could you do? Nothing.
Yeah, and Kareem was athletic because, Doc had trouble scoring on him at times. But my point is, wouldn't that be awesome? Like, we have all these events at All-Star, and the players would never do it today because a lot of them would have nothing to gain. You know what I mean? But wouldn't you love to have like a one-on-one tournament in the NBA?
Yeah, that ain't happening. There's too many egos and nobody wants to lose.
Because if you're LeBron James, widely recognized as the best player in the league, what in the world do you have to gain from that?
If you lose, people are like,
that's
LeBron,
it.
Did you see that? He ain't all that. He couldn't even play one-on-one, and he couldn't beat. Yes, that stuff would be out there.
Absolutely. So they wouldn't do it. But look, Kyrie, phenomenal. Like you, I think Mychal Thompson went way too far. I think it's Michael Jordan, Rob. Best one-on-one guy ever?
Hard to argue.
Right? I mean, he didn't have the handle of Kyrie. Who does? But he had enough of a handle to get where he wanted to go. Jump shot.
He can make baskets from anywhere. We already know. Right. A dunker. He used to go in, Chris, and dunk in an NBA era where there were trees guarding the basket. And Michael would still be able to get in there and do damage even in those days. And don't forget, the other part too is, and this is another thing. Defensively, you can't touch Kyrie now, Chris.
Oh, absolutely. Right.
Michael Jordan, you could touch, you could guide with your hand, and then you could guide with your elbow.
Yep.
Don't you think that makes a difference?
Huge difference.
You can't touch Kyrie.
When you got a handle like Kyrie and you can't touch him, you don't have a prayer.
That's a foul if you touch him. So how in the world can you slow a guy like that down? You can't.
Absolutely, you can't. Your turn to weigh in on Kyrie Irving. Is he the best one-on-one player in the league today? Rob, one of our longtime listeners, knows a lot about basketball. He texted me. He said it's KD. KD's the best one-on-one guy because of his size. It'd be hard to stop him, obviously. But let's see what the callers think. 877-99 on Fox.
All right, let's kick it off with Nick in South Carolina. You're on The Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Nick?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Kyrie, definitely not the best one-on-one player. Now, I'd take LeBron, KD, Kawhi, Harden, and probably even Steph over Kyrie, but he's in the top 10. I'll say this about Kyrie, though, man. He's become one of the most overrated players of all time, honestly. People love to trash Steph for losing a 3-1 lead. They make fun of Kawhi for sitting out. They trash James Harden for failed playoff runs. But the media, some of the people in the media don't talk enough about how Kyrie has done nothing in the playoffs without LeBron, how his teams play better without him than with him.
That's not true.
And he's talked about like a superstar, but he's given a pass for poor leadership and underperforming without LeBron. So that's just my 2 cents.
I just think you're just a LeBron homer, and
he
made a big shot.
Back up what he said.
He also played very well, and it wasn't just like he just made that shot. He averaged 20. Go look at his numbers against the Warriors.
But he's saying without
team.
LeBron.
Yeah, but he
won
played
one
LeBron
playoff series without LeBron.
Yeah, but LeBron needed him to help to be able to close that out. LeBron wouldn't have won that. I mean, so let's not act like Kyrie.
But
had
I'm just
saying
I agree. I don't think Kyrie's as overrated as he was saying.
I think Nick is overboard.
I do think Kyrie needs to do some stuff without LeBron.
Yeah,
because he's won one playoff series and he played poorly in that series when Boston lost with him.
I remember when he first showed up at Boston and they won the 20.
Yeah, but what did he do in the playoffs?
No, I know, but I'm just saying it wasn't like he came to that team and they immediately ran off 25 wins in their first 30 games or whatever it was. All right, Chris in Peoria, Illinois. You're on The Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Chris?
What's going on, guys?
Doing good.
I agree with you. I think Kyrie, he's not so much overrated. But if I'm going in a one-on-one game, I want somebody that can play a little D, too. I want somebody who can score and guard. So I'm thinking maybe Jimmy Butler. I do like the Kevin Durant thing. But I want someone like Jimmy Butler, maybe Kawhi.
Yeah, I mean, there's two different ways to look at it. It's a
I get
strict
the
one-on-one game, or just, I don't think Mychal Thompson meant that. I don't think he meant Kyrie could be anybody in a game of one-on-one. Right? Because obviously Kawhi, with his strength, he's a great mid-range shooter.
And
He'd
also
be tough.
defensively, Chris, his his reach.
Taller guys, tall, long guys would probably have an advantage, especially if they can shoot, But, yeah, I mean, Kawhi is a great mid-range one-on-one guy, too, and obviously defends.
Chris, are you still there?
He's gone.
Okay. Yeah. Mark in Sacramento, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Mark?
What's going on, gentlemen? Hey, guys, what's happening? Hey, real quick. Hey, Chris, yesterday you brought up about guys missing games and winning the MVP. I think Bill Walton
he did
missed 24 games.
You're right.
58.
Yeah.
That was the last time. That was 1970. Yeah. Was it 77 or it was 77? I think the year they beat Philly.
I think it was 78.
Okay, and that was the last time. You're right.
He also led the league.
Games.
He led the league in bandages that year too.
Yeah,
that was his problem, staying healthy.
Yeah. Real quick. I think Kyrie has the best handles, but as far as one-on-one, it's either Kevin Durant because of his ball handling skills and the size and his range, or it's James Harden because he can get to the basket with anybody. He's an expert at getting you to foul him, and he has three-point range. He has all three of those things, and he can take you down.
Except for in the playoffs, they don't give him the call.
Except for the playoffs, exactly. Right. But we're just talking about the skill itself.
No, I got it. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm just
do.
Saying, yeah.
I would probably take Harden. I think Harden's a better player than Kyrie, and one-on-one, man, you can't stop Harden. You can't stop either one of them. But I'll probably go with Harden. As I said earlier, New Orleans Pelicans color analyst and a radio host for Sirius XM NBA Radio, one of our favorites, Antonio Daniels. What up, brother?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
We are great, man. Great to have you on. Look, we got so much to get to. We just played the tape, and Rob and I talked about it. Mychal Thompson, the L.A. Lakers, former player, Clay's dad.
And color analyst.
He said that Kyrie Irving, he believes Kyrie Irving is the best one-on-one player ever. Now, Rob and I shot that down, but we're even wondering, is he the best one-on-one player now?
But think about this.
Where are you at on both of those?
Oh, wow. Did you say ever?
He said ever.
He played with Magic. He played against Jordan, you know what I mean? And he's called games featuring Kobe and LeBron, and yet that's what his answer was.
So here's the question. Here's the question I would combat with: is Kyrie Irving the best one-on-one player on his team?
Thank you. He might be third.
Right, because for me, ever is such a strong statement. But for me, like, one-on-one means if there is a game that you are playing, quote-unquote, king of the hill, and you're going to 10 or you're going to 5, who are you going with? I'm rocking with Kevin Durant. That's who I'm going with. Because one-on-one means it's not just how well you can handle the ball, and I would argue that Kyrie Irving does have one of the best handles ever, but you have to take everything into consideration. Overall skill set.
How about him at the rim? Where are you on Kyrie finishing at the rim? I think he's one of the best. Chris does too.
Yep, one of the best ever. He will be on my Mount Rushmore. He will be on my Mount Rushmore of tough layup makers throughout the history of the sport.
Right.
Easily.
I think he's got the best handle ever, and he's one of the best guard finishers ever at the rim.
Agreed.
I'll give him that.
But as far as one-on-one goes, you have to take into consideration that Kevin Durant is 7 foot.
Right.
That goes a long way.
Let me ask you, speaking of Kevin Durant and Kyrie and the Nets, they play the Lakers tonight. Obviously, we won't get to see the full matchup. No Durant, no Anthony Davis. But of all the stuff, Chris threw out this stat that he had, and I think it's pretty impressive. They're 10-1 against teams over 500, and they've beaten every good team in the league. What do you make it at? They're not even all the way together. They don't have their full roster. You know, you think they'll add some people. And the big three haven't played every night. You know, there's two of them one night, one night. What do you make of that and their record against the best teams in the league?
I'm going to be honest with you. In today's NBA, firepower is king. Give me the talent. Give me the firepower. Give me the Harden, the Durant, and the Kyrie Irving, and I'll figure it out. Because the thing is, when you play some of these other teams, like, you know, I know they lost it to Cleveland back-to-back times. And, you know, when you play some of these other teams, they've gone from the hunter when they have Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert and Joe Harris and Jared Allen and those guys. They've gone from the hunter to the hunted. And there are certain teams that you really, really get up for. And now the Brooklyn Nets is one of those teams that maybe the lower tier teams get up for. Because now this is the team that's in the championship conversation. The moment they made the trade, I picked Brooklyn to come out the East. Because in today's NBA, where you're not really allowed to play defense because of the rules, you're not really allowed to contest shots, I'm going with the firepower.
Yeah, it's hard to argue. Look, Rob and I were talking also, obviously no AD, no KD tonight. And there have been so many games this year, Antonio, where I was like looking forward to it, and then a star is out, right?
Yes.
Like even last night, Utah the Clippers. I was like, no Kawhi George. Now let me ask you this, because I think we talked about it with you. KG had made this comment about guys 20 years ago couldn't play today, and his main reason seemed to be pace. And I said it's a simple thing. Guys, instead of playing 38, 39 minutes like they used to, 40 minutes, they play 34 like they do today. But how much do you think this pace is one of the things leading the guys having to, one, rest and not play every game, and two, just maybe getting hurt? Is that a factor?
No, I think it's the fact that I think this is one of the most underrated topics and one of the most non-talked about stories in today's NBA. And that's the fact that guys are playing every other day.
Right.
We don't talk about that. You think about that for 36 games, you are basically telling guys you have to play every other day. Think about that, because think about what guys are accustomed to. You're accustomed to playing on Monday, being off Tuesday, Wednesday, playing on Thursday, then being off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's completely different. Playing every other day is hard. I know me right now as an analyst, I struggle, and I ain't even playing. I'm just working every other day. I have to prepare for the next game every other day. So your body is not accustomed to this. That's why I have a problem with the All-Star game. That's the issue I have with the All-Star game. You use it as leverage to get guys back on the floor when you told them that you can go all out for 36 games, and then after that 36 games, you're going to have 5 to 6 days off. And then after 20 games into that 36 games, you tell them, oh, you know what? You are going to have to work. So you aren't going to get that time off to rest, relax, and recover your body. What guys are going through right now is extremely difficult physically.
Speaking of the All-Star game, Chris and I have been critical of the players voting. You know, like they always rip in the media, whatever, but some of the voting is from the players' side. Do guys not take it seriously?
Antetokounmpo got 10 votes.
Yeah, he's played 8 minutes, and he got 10 votes from players. We saw one year, I was thinking, Chris, the first year that the players got to vote, 150 people left LeBron James, players, off their ballot. So there's obviously jealousy and other stuff that's going on. Should players really vote for this? Are they taking it seriously, or what's the issue here?
I think players have to vote. And honestly, I don't think there's a vote that should count more, because they're actually competing against one another.
But are they taking it seriously?
But if you'd say that, how can you justify it if 150 players didn't vote for LeBron? I can't take that vote serious.
You know what, Rob? I hear you. But the thing is, we would be foolish to think that outside of the players, even with the media, that there's no ulterior motive, that guys within the media don't have it out for certain guys too.
I don't. Not like that, though, AD.
No. I'm not saying right. I'm not saying it's not like that. And that's the thing is, I wish guys would take it serious, because if guys took it more serious, then maybe it would be more than 50% or whatever it is.
See,
Because
you know what?
when
We talk about this. I think Chris and I, coming from the newspaper background, writers are more objective. I think players
writers are the most objective.
Yes, because players have, I don't like that guy, and and there's some jealousies. I'm voting for my guy who I played AAU with. Like there's some of that. And
I hear you. I hear you, Rob. But on the flip side, you guys are in the media. There are media guys that I know of that certain players didn't give them an interview, or they didn't like their interaction with that. Certain Russell Westbrook, a lot of media members don't like the way that he treats other members of the media.
Think about it. Westbrook won an MVP award.
Yes, and let me give you this one.
Didn't even win 50 games.
Let me give you this one, and this is a little different. It's not NBA, but Chris,
right?
But we use this a lot. Barry Bonds was the worst guy to the media, during his career. Hell of a player. Won 7 MVPs voted by the media. And if I tell you, Antonio, he didn't have any use for us. He didn't like us. But he won 7 MVPs because his talent. You know what I mean? You couldn't ignore that.
Jackie Robinson, Rob. We've talked about that one.
Jackie Robinson, in an all-white league, won Rookie of the Year the first year in Major League Baseball.
Media members were racist. So
right, and probably didn't want them.
Look, media members are human, but I just think they are the most objective of the fans, players, and media.
There are different perspectives because I agree. I think the media would be the most subjective, but from the players' side, the players have the experience of actually playing with that person.
That.
But then
I agree with you. I think maybe the league has to say, look, you guys got to take this serious. And
or we'll take it away from you.
Votes, then we're going to take it away. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but
I
agree
if the players take it seriously that they obviously have a perspective that nobody else has.
Right. But there's a downside to all that, though. And the downside is exactly what you guys talked about. The downside is maybe you were on this guy's team and he wanted you traded away.
Yep.
Maybe you didn't like the way this guy led. Or maybe you got into a dust-up with this guy. You got into a fight with this guy. Or this guy's talking trash. Whatever it may be. And that's where the personal comes in with players. So does the personal offset the experience is the question.
I get it. It's definitely
Antonio,
something we
great
talk about.
stuff,
Thank
man.
you.
We could go on for another segment, but we got to run, man. We appreciate quickly, if you can, in 10 seconds. Is Zion an all-star? You think you should make the all-star team this year?
Yes. I'll just leave it at that.
All right. That's our man, AD. We'll see if he does. Great stuff, man. We appreciate it.